The pain of authenticity in a world of pretense, finding solace amidst the chaos of being genuine. Welcome back to Information for Life, insights and ideas to navigate your world. I'm your host, and in today's episode, we're venturing into the depths of authenticity, exploring what it means to be a genuine individual in a world that often feels staged. I'd like to kick things off with a poignant quote by Emily Autumn from her novel, The Asylum for Wayward Victorian Girls. She pens, "You are a terribly real thing in a terribly false world, and that, I believe, is why you are in so much pain." It's a statement that encapsulates the essence of our discussion today, and one that I believe many of our listeners will resonate deeply with. In our modern age, we're inundated with images of perfection, whether it's on social media, advertisements, or even in our personal interactions. The world often seems like a stage, where everyone wears a mask, playing their part, curating their lives for the applause of an audience. But what happens when you refuse to wear that mask? When you choose authenticity over pretense? When you are, as Emily Autumn puts it, a terribly real thing amidst the facade? It's a courageous act, no doubt, but it's also a path fraught with challenges. Because being genuine in a world that rewards conformity and superficiality can often feel like swimming against the tide. It can be isolating, perplexing, and yes, painful. But it's also liberating, grounding, and incredibly empowering. Today, we'll embark on a journey to explore this delicate balance between authenticity and the world's expectations, shedding light on the beauty, pain, and power of being genuine. Relevance of the quote. Our starting point today is that poignant quote from Emily Autumn's The Asylum for Wayward Victorian Girls, a stark reflection on the pain of authenticity in a world that often doesn't value it. In this age of digital abundance, where the lines between reality and representation blur, the pressure to fit a certain mold intensifies. Consider for a moment the world of social media. Filters, both literal and metaphorical, dominate our feeds. The curated snapshots, the highlight reels, all paint a picture of perfection. But what's lost amidst these pixel-perfect frames? Authenticity, the raw, unfiltered, and genuine essence of who we are. Sherry Turkle, in her insightful book, Alone Together, Why We Expect More from Technology and Less from Each Other, delves into this very dilemma. The digital age, while connecting us in unprecedented ways, often leaves our genuine selves feeling isolated, overshadowed by the polished avatars we project. Episode overview. So, what's in store for you in this episode? We'll embark on a journey exploring the beauty and challenges of authenticity. We'll share stories, some personal and others universal, about unique life experiences that have shaped genuine connections. And as we navigate through this maze of realness in a staged world, we'll offer actionable tips and insights to help you find, foster, and flourish in authentic relationships. Understanding authenticity. Authenticity is a term that gets tossed around quite a bit, especially in today's world. But what does it truly mean to embody authenticity? Let's unpack this. Defining authenticity. At its core, authenticity is about alignment, an alignment between our internal beliefs, emotions, and values, and our external behaviors, actions, and expressions. It's a harmony that resonates within us when who we are on the inside matches who we portray on the outside. But authenticity goes beyond just being honest. It's a deeper commitment to oneself. Dr. Kernis and Dr. Goldman, in their comprehensive study titled A Multi-Component Conceptualization of Authenticity, delve into the multifaceted nature of authenticity. They represent it not as a singular trait, but a symphony of components that collectively define our genuine selves in social contexts. They suggest that authenticity encompasses self-awareness, unbiased processing, action, and relational orientation. Being authentic is liberating. It's the wind beneath the wings of deep connections and the mirror reflecting our truest selves. But like all things profound, it comes with its set of challenges. The risk of isolation, the potential for misunderstandings, and the judgments that often accompany unapologetic genuineness. Think of authenticity as the ultimate what you see is what you get deal minus the infomercial gimmicks. Benefits of authenticity. So why bother with authenticity? Well, for starters, being genuine has a myriad of benefits. It fosters trust. When people see you as genuine, they're more likely to trust and connect with you on a deeper level. Authenticity also promotes self-awareness. The more we embrace our genuine selves, the more we understand our desires, motivations, and emotions. This genuine self-awareness is empowering, allowing us to make decisions that align with our true selves. Moreover, authentic individuals often experience higher levels of well-being, satisfaction, and even happiness. There's a profound sense of contentment that comes from being genuine. Challenges of authenticity. But it's not always rainbows and sunshine. Being unapologetically genuine has its challenges. For one, there's the potential risk of isolation. In a world that often prioritizes conformity, standing out authentically can sometimes lead to feelings of loneliness. There's also the vulnerability that comes with authenticity. Exposing your genuine self means opening up to potential criticism and judgment. But remember, it's this very vulnerability that makes genuine connections so deep and meaningful. And let's not forget misunderstandings. Authenticity, while beautiful, can sometimes be misinterpreted, especially in diverse social contexts where cultural or personal nuances come into play. Finding balance. So, how do we navigate the tightrope of authenticity? It's all about balance. While it's essential to be genuine, it's equally crucial to be empathetic and understanding of diverse perspectives. Authenticity, after all, isn't about rigidly sticking to one's views, but evolving and growing while staying true to oneself. High-functioning Autism Spectrum Disorder and authenticity. One of the purest forms of authenticity can often be found in individuals with high-functioning Autism Spectrum Disorder, or ASD. For those unfamiliar, high-functioning ASD is a neurodevelopmental condition characterized by challenges in social interaction and communication. But, as with many things in life, there is a silver lining. People with high-functioning ASD are often innately genuine. They perceive and interpret the world differently, often bypassing the societal scripts many of us unconsciously follow. Now, imagine navigating a world where everyone seems to be playing by a set of unwritten rules that you are not privy to. It's like being thrust onto a stage without a script. For many with high-functioning ASD, their interactions are guided by honesty, straightforwardness, and a genuine curiosity about the world and the people in it. However, this inherent authenticity can sometimes clash with societal expectations. In social situations where nuance, pretense, or even small talk is the norm, their candid nature might be misconstrued. They might be seen as blunt or even tactless. But in reality, they're just being true to themselves, often bypassing the superficial to delve into deeper, more meaningful interactions. Think about it. How many times have you found yourself stuck in a mundane conversation discussing the weather for the umpteenth time? Now, imagine someone breaking that cycle by asking, why do humans feel the need to discuss the weather so much? It's refreshing, thought-provoking, and yes, a tad humorous. But it's essential to understand that their genuine nature isn't a conscious choice to be different or contrary. It's just who they are. And while their authenticity can sometimes lead to misunderstandings or feelings of isolation, it's also their strength. It allows them to form genuine connections, untainted by societal masks or pretense. They remind us of the beauty of seeing the world through an unfiltered lens, of the power of genuine interactions, and the depth of connections formed when two souls meet, unguarded and real. Life experiences, the double-edged sword. Each one of us carries a unique tapestry of experiences that paints our worldview. These experiences, both joyful and challenging, mold us, shape our perspectives, and influence our interactions with the world around us. But for some, their tapestry is woven with threads so distinct that they often feel themselves feeling like observers in their own narrative. Imagine having lived through situations that few can relate to or understand. These experiences, while enriching, can also be isolating. They set you apart, make you different, and often lead to feelings of being an outsider looking in. It's like having read chapters of a book that most haven't even glanced at. It's like being the only person at a party who's watched a particular movie. Everyone's discussing the latest blockbuster, and you're just standing there itching to discuss the cinematic masterpiece that you've just witnessed. You want to shout, "Has no one here seen The Obscure Adventures of Bob the Goldfish?" But, of course, no one has. Jokes aside, unique life experiences, especially those that are vastly different from the norm, can be both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, they provide depth, wisdom, and a broader perspective on life. They teach resilience, adaptability, and the ability to find beauty in adversity. But on the flip side, they can also lead to feelings of loneliness, of being misunderstood, or of constantly seeking a place where one truly belongs. Yes, it's essential to recognize that these experiences, as isolating as they might feel at times, are also a source of immense strength. They allow for empathy, understanding, and a richness of character that's unparalleled. For those who've felt the weight of such experiences, know that they're not burdens, but badges of honor. They're testaments to your journey, to the paths you've walked, the challenges you've overcome, and the wisdom you've garnered. The search for genuine connections. In a world that often feels like a vast sea of fleeting interactions and passing acquaintances, how do we anchor ourselves in genuine connections? How do we find those rare moments of true understanding amidst the whirlwind of superficial exchanges? We live in a world where so-called friends are counted by the click of a button, where interactions are often limited to likes, comments, and emojis. But deep down, we all yearn for something more profound, more real. It's like going to a buffet filled with junk food when all you really want is a wholesome, home-cooked meal. Sure, those candy bars and chips might be tempting, but they leave you feeling empty, craving something with substance. Genuine connections are those that nourish our soul. They're interactions where masks fall away, where pretense dissolves, and where two individuals meet in a space of mutual respect and understanding. But how do we find such connections in today's world? First and foremost, it starts with authenticity. Being genuine in your interactions, showing vulnerability, and being open to truly listening and understanding. It's about quality over quantity, about seeking depth over breadth. But it's also about recognizing that genuine connections aren't just stumbled upon, they're cultivated. It requires effort, patience, and the willingness to step out of one's comfort zone. It's about seeking out spaces and communities that value authenticity. It's about being discerning in your interactions and about recognizing the signs of genuine intent. Think of it as a treasure hunt, where X doesn't mark the spot on the map, but in heartfelt conversations, shared laughter, and moments of understanding. And just like any treasure hunt, there might be a few decoys along the way, but the real treasure, it's worth its weight in gold. In our quest for genuine connections, it's essential to remember that it's a two-way street. As much as we seek authenticity in others, we must also offer it in return. Because at the end of the day, genuine connections are built on mutual trust, understanding, and a shared commitment to authenticity. The downside of finding an equal. Finding someone who resonates with you on a profound level, someone who seems to mirror your authenticity and depth, can be exhilarating. It's like finding a kindred spirit, an equal. But what happens when this connection, as deep and genuine as it may seem, becomes overwhelming for one party? What if one person, despite being, so you thought, an equal, gets scared and retreats? For many, this sudden withdrawal can be puzzling and hurtful. You've bared your soul, shown your true self, only to have the other person pull away. It's a jarring experience, akin to a rug being pulled out from under your feet. It's like preparing for a serene boat ride on a calm lake, having checked the weather and ensuring all conditions are perfect, but just as you set sail, an unexpected storm hits, turning the tranquil waters into a tumultuous sea. Now, for someone with a neurotypical mindset, this withdrawal can be processed in various ways. They might rationalize it, attribute it to external factors, or even internalize it as a reflection of their own inadequacies. While it's undoubtedly challenging, they often have the tools and societal scripts to navigate these emotions. But for someone with high-functioning ASD, the experience can be profoundly different. Their genuine nature, combined with their unique way of processing emotions and social cues, especially if they truly committed to not holding back, can make such a withdrawal deeply perplexing. They might grapple with understanding the nuances behind the retreat, especially if they've approached the connection with their characteristic straightforwardness and honesty. For someone with ASD, who's often misunderstood or labeled as robotic or AI-like, by those not close to them. This retreat can exacerbate feelings of isolation and misunderstanding. They've shown their authentic self, only to face yet another barrier in their quest for genuine connection. It's essential to understand that for individuals with high-functioning ASD, genuine connections are not just desired, they're a lifeline. It's their way of bridging the gap between their unique worldview and the societal norms that often elude them. So, when someone they perceive as an equal retreats, it's not just a lost connection, it's a missed opportunity for mutual understanding and growth. The pain of vulnerability and betrayal. Vulnerability, especially emotional vulnerability, is a double-edged sword. On one side, it's the key to genuine connections, allowing two individuals to meet heart to heart without guards or barriers. But on the flip side, it opens us up to potential hurt, especially when that vulnerability is mishandled or exploited. Speaking from personal experience, there was a time in my life following the devastating loss of my life partner where I chose to be completely emotionally vulnerable. It was a conscious decision, a way to cope, to connect, and to heal. But this vulnerability, combined with the emotional codependency that often follows such a loss, made me blind to the true nature of someone I deeply trusted. Think of it as being handed a glass of what you think is water, only to take a sip and realize it's vinegar. A sharp, unexpected jolt that leaves you wondering, how did I not see that coming? Trust, once given, is a precious thing, and when someone promises never to betray that trust, especially when you're at your most vulnerable, it becomes a lifeline. But life has a way of throwing curveballs, and sometimes those we trust implicitly end up causing the deepest wounds. In my case, a moment of unintentional embarrassment led to a cascade of events that were nothing short of a nightmare. The very person I trusted turned the narrative on its head, painting themselves as the victim on public platforms, while I grappled with feelings of betrayal, confusion, and heartbreak. But here's the kicker. Amidst this turmoil, I found out I'd also been dealing with high-functioning ASD, which added another layer to the puzzle. The emotionally unavailable guy label, which had been a recurring theme in my life, suddenly made a whole lot more sense. The fragility of trust and the strength of resilience. Trust is a fragile thing, built over time, yet shattered in an instant. And when you face repeated betrayals throughout life, this fragility becomes all the more pronounced. Each betrayal, each breach of trust, leaves a mark, adding layers of caution, doubt, and hesitancy in future interactions. Now, juxtapose this with a conscious decision to be emotionally vulnerable. It's akin to walking a tightrope, where on one side lies the potential for genuine connection and healing, and on the other, the risk for further pain and betrayal. Speaking from a deeply personal space, there was that moment in my life where trust, vulnerability, and betrayal collided in the most heart-wrenching way. That singular act of unintentional embarrassment spiraled into a series of events that left me grappling with what I was made to realize through the resulting therapy was acute PTSD. And while the specifics of my story may be unique, the emotions, the turmoil, and the quest for understanding are universal. It's a bit like expecting a soothing spa day and ending up on a roller coaster instead. The twists, turns, and unexpected drops might be thrilling for some, but when you're unprepared, it can be downright nauseating. The acute PTSD that ensued wasn't just the result of this particular betrayal. It was an accumulation of past wounds, of major trust issues from my time in the military that had taken root over time. It all manifested in ways I hadn't anticipated. I wasn't just dealing with the pain of betrayal. I was navigating a complex web of emotions, loss, diagnoses, and societal perceptions. And in those moments of sheer emotional chaos, the real battle was with myself. It was a test of my own resilience, my ability to process, understand, and ultimately heal. But here's the thing. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back. It's about growing, evolving, and emerging stronger. It's about recognizing the depth of one's own strength, even in the face of overwhelming emotions. It's about forgiving the people who lack the capacity for understanding and empathy in order to move forward for yourself, even while you have to leave them behind, realizing that while in the military you may have been able to save people from others, you are not able to save people from themselves. And for me, the journey, though tumultuous, was yet another testament in my life to the human spirit's ability to endure, recover, and thrive. To those who've walked similar paths, those who've felt the sting of betrayal, the weight of mistrust, and the turbulence of emotions, remember this. Your resilience is your superpower. It's the beacon that guides you through the darkest nights, the anchor that holds you steady in a stormy sea. Embrace it, lean on it, and let it propel you forward. Well, as they say, every cloud has a silver lining. Today, I'm in a relationship with a remarkable woman who sees beyond the past, who understands the intricacies of my journey, and who's committed to understanding me, even attending therapy sessions with me to gain deeper insights. It's a testament to her character and a beacon of hope to all of those who've faced similar challenges. Lesson for the listeners. To anyone listening who's been through similar circumstances, know this. Betrayal, especially when you're vulnerable, can be earth-shattering, but it's not the end. It's a chapter, a painful one, but it doesn't define your story. Seek support, whether it's therapy, understanding partners, or communities that resonate with your experiences. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. The power of restraint and targeted energy. There's an often overlooked strength in those with the capability and connections for intense reactions, those who can harness society against itself or even resort to physical and electronic violence, representing the darker facets of our interconnected world where adept individuals can weaponize information and technology. Yet, the true measure of power lies not just in the physical and cognitive prowess or the ability to act, but in the conscious decision to not act, especially when every instinct might be driving you towards it. In moments of betrayal, hurt, or emotional chaos, the true test isn't just how one reacts, but how one chooses not to. For those with the innate ability to channel intense energy, the real power lies in targeted restraint and harnessing that force for constructive purposes rather than destructive ones. To lighten things up a bit, imagine having a supercharged sports car, one that can go from 0 to 100 in seconds. Now imagine being stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic. The potential is there, the power, the speed, but you choose to idle, to wait, and to move at the pace of the world around you. That's restraint. And let's be honest, it takes a lot more skill to navigate that traffic jam without a scratch than to speed on down the berm. And to those who often wear the mask of the victim, it's essential to recognize that true strength isn't just the display of power. It's in the controlled, targeted use of it. It's extremely easy to play the victim, to use society and other people's ignorance of the truth and their empathy as pawns in your little game, to point fingers and to paint oneself as the aggrieved party. But real strength, real character, shines through in moments of restraint, in the decision to rise above and in the ability to channel intense emotions responsibly. If you're someone with this innate strength, this controlled intensity, regardless of the extent of capability, know that your power isn't just in what you can do, but in what you choose not to. And for those who encounter such individuals, recognize the depth of their restraint, the magnitude of their self-control, and the immense character it takes to navigate a world with well-designed, purposeful gaps with such targeted energy. Finding authentic partners amidst superficiality. In our pursuit of genuine connections, there's one relationship that often takes center stage, our romantic partnerships. It's a bond filled with potential for deep connection, shared growth, and, unfortunately, profound pain. So, how do we navigate the complexities of finding an authentic partner in a world awash with fleeting interests and superficial engagements? Today's digital age offers immediate gratification, where judgments are made with a mere swipe, left or right, based solely on a snapshot. Yet, amidst this rapid-fire decision-making, many yearn for depth, for a bond that transcends fleeting moments and delves into the heart of genuine connection. Imagine searching for a meaningful book in a store filled with flashy magazines. The magazines might catch your eye with their gloss and glam, but it's the well-written, insightful book that leaves a lasting impact. The journey to find an authentic partner begins with recognizing and valuing your own authenticity. It's about understanding your worth without falling into the trap of entitlement. Life often throws curveballs, and while we can't always control what comes our way, we can control how we respond, how we grow, and how we forge connections. Being discerning is essential. In a world rife with pretense, it's crucial to hone the ability to look beyond the surface, to identify genuine intent, and to distance oneself from situations or individuals that might not align with one's values of authenticity, openness, commitment, and loyalty, among other things. For those who've faced the sting of betrayal, who've opened their hearts only to be let down, remember this. Every relationship, every encounter offers a lesson. It's a chance to evolve, to gain insight, and to refine our understanding of ourselves and our desires in friendships and in a partner. Think of it as sampling a buffet. Sure, you may try a dish or two that doesn't suit your palate, but each taste is a step closer to discovering your favorite meal. And hey, for high-functioning ASD types, you might even discover some assessments to have a potential friend or partner take to sort the wheat from the chaff. Navigating the realm of authentic partnerships in today's fast-paced world may seem challenging, and it is. But with patience, introspection, and a commitment to authenticity, meaningful connections are not just possibility. They're a journey worth embarking on. Celebrate your journey, embrace the lessons, and remember that genuine bonds are built over time, not in an instant. The weight of disappointment and expectations. Betrayal, as we've discussed, is a painful experience, but there's an aspect of it that's often overshadowed by the immediate hurt, the profound sense of disappointment. It's that sinking feeling, not just of being let down, but of having seen potential, depth, and connection in someone, only to realize that it might not have been reciprocated in the way you believed. This disappointment can be likened to that of a parent for their child, where there's an inherent belief in the child's potential, a vision of what they could become, and a hope for their growth. When these expectations aren't met, the resulting disappointment can be heart-wrenching. This kind of disappointment may be likened to watching a beautiful sunrise, where every moment promises the brilliance of the day ahead, but just as the sun reaches its zenith, clouds obscure its light, casting an unexpected shadow. It's the jarring contrast between the anticipated brightness and the sudden darkness that deepens the sense of loss. In the realm of relationships, disparities like educational backgrounds can sometimes play a subtle role. It's not about being superior to the other or an intelligence being tied to degrees. Instead, it's about the shared experiences, perspectives, and sometimes the unspoken expectations that come with it. When one person values and recognizes intelligence beyond formal education and believes in the depth and potential of the other, any form of betrayal can intensify that sense of disappointment. It's not just about the act itself, but the shattered belief in shared values and mutual respect. In our quest for genuine connections, it's essential to recognize and manage our expectations. It's okay to see potential, to believe in someone, and to hope for the best. But it's equally crucial to be aware of our own biases, hopes, and the weight of our disappointments. Relationships are a two-way street, and while we can control our actions and beliefs, we cannot control or predict the actions of others. Embrace the journey, learn from the experiences, and always prioritize mutual respect and understanding. Discerning the genuine from the superficial. In a world saturated with filters, both literal and metaphorical, how do we sift through the noise and connect with genuine souls? How do we ensure that the relationships we cultivated are rooted in authenticity and mutual respect? First and foremost, it's essential to understand that genuine connections are not instant. They're cultivated over time. It's the shared experiences, the deep conversations, and the mutual respect that solidify a bond. So while first impressions matter, they're merely the tip of the iceberg. Think of it as baking bread. Sure, you could grab a slice from the store, but there's something incredibly fulfilling about kneading the dough, waiting for it to rise, savoring the aroma of freshly baked bread. Genuine connections, much like baking, require patience and effort. Another key aspect is communication. Genuine individuals communicate with transparency and integrity. They're not afraid to express their feelings, admit their mistakes, or share their vulnerabilities. By contrast, superficial connections often thrive on pretense, ambiguity, and sometimes even deceit. It's also vital to trust your intuition. While logic and reasoning are essential, there's an innate gut feeling, an instinct that often guides us in interpersonal relationships. However, it's crucial to recognize that our intuitive responses can sometimes be influenced by past traumas or experiences. Previous betrayals, disappointments, or hurtful events can tint our perception, making us overly cautious, or in some cases, overly trusting. It's like wearing a pair of colored glasses. They can alter the true hue of what we're seeing. If something feels off, it might be this past tinted intuition at play, and it's worth exploring further or seeking clarity. Reflecting on whether our gut feelings are genuine, present moment instincts, or echoes from the past can help us navigate current relationships with more clarity and understanding. And lastly, observe actions over words. Actions, as they say, speak louder than words. Genuine individuals will consistently demonstrate their authenticity through their actions. They stand by their commitments, show up when it matters, and make sacrifices for the well-being of the relationship. They will fight for the connection, even when the going gets tough, and even if it's an awkward or misplaced fight. Sincerity is not always about getting it right, but about the intention and effort put into preserving the relationship. On the other hand, insincere individuals might often be all talk and no action. They often shower you with words of affections or make grand promises, but when it comes time to act, they falter. It's in these moments of challenge or conflict that true colors shine through. So always be attentive to the consistency between what someone says and what they do. It's a reliable gauge of their sincerity and commitment. Surrounding oneself with authentic allies. The company we keep plays a pivotal role in our well-being and personal growth. Surrounding oneself with authentic allies not only enhances our life experiences, but also offers a safety net of trust, support, and mutual respect. It's like being part of a band. You could have the best guitar skills, but without a drummer, a bassist, and a vocalist in sync, the music just won't hit the right notes. Authentic allies are your bandmates, ensuring you create harmonious melodies together. These allies challenge us, support us, and celebrate with us. They're the ones who stand by our side, not just in moments of joy, but also in times of adversity. And the beauty of such relationships? They're mutual. It's a two-way street of giving and receiving, of understanding and being understood. As you navigate the intricate maze of relationships, remember to value quality over quantity. It's better to have a few genuine connections than a plethora of superficial ones. Trust your instincts, communicate openly, and always prioritize authenticity. Life is too short for pretense. Let's make every connection count. The true role of authentic allies. Authentic allies are more than just cheerleaders in our lives. They're a compass, guiding us when we might be veering off track. One of the hallmarks of genuine friendship and allyship is the courage to call out, to highlight when one might be making a misstep or even acting against their own best interests. Think of them as the GPS system when you're on a road trip. Sure, taking that random detour might seem fun, but your GPS will always remind you to please make a U-turn, guiding you back to the right path. These allies understand your pain, your past, and your struggles, yet they won't let you use these as crutches or excuses. They see the bigger picture, your potential, and they'll ensure you're not self-sabotaging. It's easy to find people who applaud every decision, no matter how detrimental. But being an authentic ally, they'll sit you down, look you in the eye, and tell you that you're being unreasonable, or even, dare I say, downright foolish. They don't do this out of malice, but out of genuine concern and love. They know that if you reject them, it says far more about you than it does them. Beware of those who cheer you on from the sidelines, not for your achievements, but for your missteps, taking secret pleasure in your downfalls. Authentic allies uplift, guide, and sometimes provide the tough love that we might not want, but definitely need. As you evaluate the relationships in your life, seek out those who have your genuine best interests at heart. Cherish the allies who are unafraid to speak the truth, even if, and perhaps even especially when, it's hard to hear. Because at the end of the day, it's these authentic connections that propel us forward, ensuring we grow, evolve, and thrive. Navigating authenticity in the digital age. The digital age, with its myriad of platforms and instant communication, has transformed how we connect. On one hand, it's never been easier to reach out, to share, and to engage. But on the flip side, the digital realm can often blur the lines between genuine interactions and superficial engagements. Social media, for instance, allows us to curate our lives, to showcase the best moments, often glossing over the challenges, the mundane, and the real. This curated reality can sometimes create a pressure to conform, to chase likes and validation, rather than genuine connections. Imagine the digital world as a grand masquerade ball. Everyone's in their finest attire, masks on, dancing gracefully. But when the clock strikes midnight and the masks come off, that's when the real party begins. And trust me, it's not all glitz and glamour. So how do we navigate this digital maze and seek genuine connections? First and foremost, it's essential to be self-aware. Recognize the difference between your online persona and your authentic self. It's okay to share highlights, but don't lose yourself in the pursuit of digital validation. Engage meaningfully. Instead of mindlessly scrolling and double tapping, take a moment to genuinely engage with content. Leave thoughtful comments, initiate meaningful conversations, And remember that behind every profile is a real person with real emotions. And most importantly, take breaks. Digital detoxes, periods where you disconnect from the online world, can be incredibly rejuvenating. It offers a chance to reconnect with oneself, to reflect, and to engage with the physical world around us. The digital realm is a double-edged sword. While it offers unprecedented opportunities to connect, it also poses challenges to authenticity. As you navigate this digital landscape, remember to stay true to yourself, engage meaningfully, and prioritize genuine connections over fleeting validation. After all, it's the authentic interactions, the deep conversations, and the genuine bonds that truly enrich our lives. Building and nurturing authentic connections. Building genuine connections, whether it's in the digital realm or face-to-face, is a journey, one that requires effort, patience, and a dash of vulnerability. Let's explore some strategies to cultivate and nurture these connections. First up, active listening. It sounds simple, but in a world filled with distractions, truly listening to someone can be a rare gift. It's not just about hearing words, but understanding the emotions, the intent, and the context behind them. Think of it as tuning into your favorite radio station. You don't want any static. You want the clear, melodious tunes. Similarly, with active listening, you're tuning into the frequency of genuine connection. Next, consistent communication. Authenticity thrives in an environment of trust, and trust is built over time. Regular check-ins, meaningful conversations, and even the occasional thinking of you message can go a long way in strengthening bonds. Vulnerability is another cornerstone of genuine connections. It's about letting your guard down, sharing your fears, aspirations, and even those embarrassing stories from your childhood. It's through these shared vulnerabilities that deeper connections are forged. Remember, nobody's perfect. That time you tripped in public or had spinach stuck in your teeth during a date, we've all been there. Sharing these moments adds a touch of humor and relatability to our interactions. And let's not forget empathy. Putting yourself in someone else's shoes, understanding their perspective, and offering support without judgment is the essence of genuine connection. Lastly, quality over quantity. In the quest for authentic connections, it's essential to focus on the depth of interactions rather than the number. A few deep, meaningful relationships can be far more fulfilling than numerous superficial ones. Building and nurturing genuine connections is a journey, one that's filled with shared laughter, mutual growth, and the occasional bump in the road. As you traverse this path, remember to listen actively, communicate consistently, embrace vulnerability, and always lead with empathy. In a world that often feels fragmented, it's these authentic bonds that brings us closer, reminding us of our shared humanity and the joy of genuine connection. Maintaining authentic connections, the long game. Authentic connections, once established, can be one of the most rewarding aspects of our lives. However, as with any relationship, they require effort and understanding to maintain and grow over the long term. First, let's talk about the joys. There's a certain comfort in knowing someone truly understands you, in sharing silent moments, laughing over inside jokes, and reminiscing about shared memories. These relationships become a safe haven, a place where you can be your unfiltered self without the fear of judgment. It's like wearing your favorite pair of old jeans. They might be a bit worn out, but they fit just right, and you wouldn't trade them for the world. On the flip side, maintaining these connections comes with its set of challenges. Life happens. People move, priorities shift, and sometimes misunderstandings arise. It's essential to navigate these challenges with grace, understanding, and open communication. One key challenge is distance. Physical or emotional, distance can strain connections, but with effort, this can be overcome. Regular check-ins, virtual meetups, or even old-fashioned letters can bridge the gap. Think of distance as a bad Wi-Fi connection. Sometimes you've got to find the right spot, maybe even get a signal booster, in this case more communication, and you're back online. Another challenge is life transitions. Whether it's a new job, a growing family, or personal transformations, these changes can affect dynamics. It's essential to be patient, understanding, and supportive during these times, ensuring the bond remains strong. Lastly, managing conflicts. Disagreements are natural, but how we handle them defines the strength of our connection. Open communication, active listening, and a willingness to compromise or at least stay flexible are crucial. Life is a roller coaster filled with ups, downs, twists, and turns. Our authentic connections are our companions on this ride. While the journey may have its challenges, the joys and shared memories make it all worthwhile. So cherish those bonds, nurture them, And remember that with effort, understanding, and a sprinkle of humor, these connections can last a lifetime. Managing conflicts with depth and understanding. Conflicts, as we mentioned, are a natural part of any genuine connection. However, the depth of our understanding can make a significant difference in how we navigate these disagreements. When conflicts arise, it's essential not only to listen to the words being said, but also to understand the underlying emotions and experiences fueling them. Maybe your friend or partner is stressed due to work pressures. Maybe they're going through personal challenges they haven't openly discussed. Or maybe past traumas are resurfacing in unexpected ways and they haven't even figured that out. It's like trying to understand why your car isn't starting. You don't just honk the horn louder. You check the battery, the engine, the fuel. Similarly, in relationships, it's essential to understand the underlying issues, not just the surface-level disagreements. By taking a step back and trying to see the bigger picture, we can approach conflicts with empathy and compassion. It's not about who's right or wrong, but about understanding, supporting, and finding a middle ground. Engaging in open dialogues, asking probing questions, and creating a safe space for sharing can unveil deeper insights into the root causes of conflicts. And often, with understanding comes resolution. In our quest for genuine connections, conflicts are inevitable. But with a deeper understanding, empathy, and open communication, these conflicts can be opportunities for growth, strengthening the bond even further. Remember, it's not about winning an argument, but about understanding and being understood. Misunderstandings and misinterpretations, navigating sensitive questions. In our quest for deeper understanding and genuine connection, sometimes our well-intended questions can be misinterpreted. Let's take, for instance, a question like, "Why do you love me?" While it might stem from a place of seeking reassurance or understanding, it can sometimes be perceived differently. Such questions can unintentionally unearth insecurities, past traumas, or even cultural or societal beliefs. For some, it might feel like their genuine emotions are being put on trial or that they need to justify their feelings. It's like asking someone why they like chocolate. For some, it's just a natural preference, while others might have a heartwarming story about baking with their grandmother. But if they've recently been on a diet, they might wonder if you're hinting at something else. In situations where questions are taken as attacks, it's crucial to approach the ensuing conversation with patience, clarity, and reassurance. Clarify the intent behind the question, and express genuine interest in understanding their perspective. It's also essential to recognize that such reactions may not always be about the question itself, but might be rooted in past experiences or external pressures. In such cases, offering a safe space for open dialogue without judgment or preconceived notions can pave the way for deeper understanding and healing. And if, on the receiving end of such questions, it's beneficial to approach them with an open mind, seeking clarity if the intent is unclear, rather than jumping to conclusions. Communication is a two-way street, filled with nuances and subtleties. While seeking deeper connections, it's essential to be aware of the weight our words can carry and the myriad interpretations they can have. By approaching conversations with empathy, openness, and a genuine desire to understand, we can navigate misunderstandings and strengthen our bonds. Practical tips and exercises for deepening authentic connections. Building and maintaining genuine connections is an ongoing journey, but with some practical strategies and exercises, we can pave the way for more profound and fulfilling relationships. 1. Reflective listening exercise. One of the foundations of effective communication is listening, but not just any listening, reflective listening. This involves not only hearing the words, but understanding and reflecting the feelings and emotions behind them. Think of it as being a mirror for someone's words, but instead of showing an image, you're reflecting emotions and understanding. Exercise. Engage in a conversation with a friend or loved one. As they share, listen actively. After they finish, reflect back what you understood, both in content and emotion. This not only validates their feelings, but also ensures you've grasped the essence of what they're saying. 2. Gratitude journaling. Take a moment daily to jot down things you're grateful for, especially concerning your relationships, can foster a positive mindset and deeper appreciation for your connections. Exercise. Each night, write down 3 things you're grateful for in your relationship. It could be a kind gesture, a meaningful conversation, or simply a shared moment of laughter. 3. The 36 questions for intimacy. Developed by psychologist Arthur Aaron, these questions are designed to foster closeness and intimacy between individuals. It's like a fast track to getting to know someone, but instead of speed dating, it's speed bonding. Exercise. Set aside an evening with a friend or partner. take turns asking and answering these questions. They range from lighthearted queries like, what would a perfect day look like for you, to deeper ones such as, how do you feel about your relationship with your mother? The link will be in the description. 4. Digital detox. As we discussed earlier, periodically unplugging from the digital world can rejuvenate our minds and strengthen our physical connections. Exercise. Designate one day a week as a digital detox day. Use this time to engage in face-to-face interactions, hobbies, or simply self-reflection. 5. Empathy-building activities. Empathy is the cornerstone of genuine connections. By putting ourselves in someone else's shoes, we can better understand and relate to them. Exercise. Watch a movie, read a book, or even watch a theory about human behavior like, the vastly stark difference between how men and women love that's from a perspective vastly different from yours. Afterward, discuss or reflect on the emotions, challenges, and experiences of the characters or the thoughts behind the theory. This can broaden your understanding and foster deeper empathy. The journey to deeper, more genuine connections is ongoing, filled with growth, learning, and shared experiences. By actively engaging in exercises and strategies geared towards understanding, empathy, and open communication, we can foster bonds that not only stand the test of time, but also enrich our lives in countless ways. The power of face-to-face communication and conflict resolution. Conflicts are an inevitable part of any truly genuine relationship. A genuine relationship will most certainly trigger our past traumas and fears, especially early on, but will also provide a safe space to work through them and grow if you let it. How we communicate during these times can make a world of difference in understanding and resolution. In today's digital age, it's tempting to resort to text or email during disagreements. It offers a buffer, a screen to hide behind, and the time to craft our responses. However, this mode stems from fear, or worse, manipulation, and lacks the depth, nuance, and authenticity that face-to-face interactions provide. Think of text-based communication as reading a recipe without pictures. Sure, you get the gist, but you're left guessing how the final dish should look or taste. Similarly, without visual cues, tone of voice, and body language, textual communication leaves a lot open to interpretation. Body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice contain a wealth of information, often more than words alone can ever express. They provide context, emotion, and intent. A simple phrase like, "I'm fine," can have drastically different meanings based on the tone and body language accompanying it. Additionally, in face-to-face interactions, there's an immediacy that fosters genuine dialogue. Misunderstandings can be addressed on the spot, and emotions can be validated in real time. It's also worth noting that textual communication, especially during conflicts, can be reread repeatedly, overanalyzed, and sometimes misconstrued or even worse, used as a source of narcissistic supply. Without the benefit of tone or facial cues, we often fill in the gaps with our own biases, fears, and insecurities. Of course, face-to-face interactions might not always be feasible, especially in long-distance relationships or during times of social distancing. In such cases, video calls can be a valuable alternative, providing visual and auditory cues that can aid in understanding. Communication is the lifeline of any relationship, and how we choose to communicate, especially during conflicts, can shape the trajectory of our connections. Prioritize face-to-face interactions, embrace the authenticity they offer, and navigate conflicts with clarity, understanding, and empathy. Concluding thoughts and reflections. As we finally come to the end of today's episode, let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we've embarked on together. Authenticity, with its joys, challenges, and nuances, is the cornerstone of deep, meaningful connections. It's the thread that weaves the tapestry of our relationships, making them vibrant, strong, and resilient. We've delved into the essence of genuine connections, the challenges of navigating them in a digital age, and the profound impact of understanding and empathy in resolving conflicts. At its core, authenticity is about being true to oneself, not wearing a mask to project an image or thinking you're setting some sort of example to others, and truly evaluating the depth and uniqueness of others. It's like choosing between a home-cooked meal and fast food. While the latter might be quick and convenient, there's an unmatched warmth, flavor, and nourishment in the former. Similarly, while superficial connections might be easy to come by, it's the genuine bonds that truly feed our souls. We've also explored practical exercises and strategies to nurture and deepen our connections. Remember, Like any journey, building and maintaining genuine relationships is an ongoing process, one that requires effort, patience, and a sprinkle of humor. In a world that often feels fragmented and superficial, our authentic connections are the anchors that ground us, the safe havens where we can be our unfiltered selves. They remind us of our shared humanity, the beauty of vulnerability, and the joy of truly being seen and understood. So as we part ways for today, I leave you with a challenge. Reach out to someone you care about, engage in genuine conversation, listen actively, and embrace the beauty of authentic connection. Remember, in the words of Emily Autumn, it's the terribly real things in a terribly false world that make all the difference. Thank you for joining us on this journey of exploration and understanding. We hope this episode has resonated with you, offering insights and strategies to deepen your authentic connections. Until next time, stay genuine, stay connected, and always lead with love and understanding.